then shook my head. I never had any formal schooling, never attended a school, but I had many teachers. I should have a grasp of the basic knowledge. The Astors exchanged uncertain glances. My mother quickly followed up, well, would you be interested in attending New York's most elite preparatory academy? The workload isn't heavy. It's mainly for socializing and recreation. It's up to you. It's fine if you don't want to go. They already had Julian, so it was perfectly acceptable for me to just relax and do nothing. I asked, is Julian at that academy too? My mother explained, oh, him? He's just enrolled by name. He rarely goes. The academy has nothing left to teach him. Julian looked up then, his tone casual. I only go occasionally to manage things. The other rich kids there fight viciously. His words were an undisguised boast, making his high status there obvious. I shook my head. If Julian doesn't go, then I won't either. Julian glared at me. What, you just got back, and you're already trying to compete with me? My mother coughed, steering the conversation to the main point. All right, it's settled then. If Ethan doesn't want to go, he doesn't have to. There's one more thing. I put down my chopsticks. Go on, Mom. My mother hesitated. Well, over a decade ago, our family made a marriage agreement with the Sterling family. Now that you're both of a suitable age, it might be time to fulfill that contract soon. The agreement was originally for you and the Sterling girl, but it later fell to Julian. But now that you're back, we might need to discuss it. To be honest, they were reluctant to see me get married so soon. I had only just returned and hadn't even had the chance to build a relationship with them yet. I spoke up. Mom, Dad, you don't need to worry about the marriage contract. It's been Julian's engagement for a long time, and I certainly won't fight him for it. You've raised him as a true Astor heir since he was a child. He's more than qualified, and the Sterling family is very satisfied with him as a future son-in-law. How could I take that from him? I don't know anything. I can't do anything. I'd probably just embarrass the family and would be unfit for the responsibility even if I did marry into the Sterling family. The Astors exchanged another round of hesitant glances. Julian nearly threw his chopsticks down. What nonsense are you talking? Who's satisfied? This marriage was originally yours. Don't pin it on me. I don't want it. My parents looked at me awkwardly. Ethan, don't mind him. That's just how Julian is. I was stunned. Was my analysis wrong? Julian actually didn't want to marry the Sterling princess? Even if the Sterling family was a den of vipers with his personality and skills, he should be able to handle it with ease. What was going on? My mother explained, Julian has no interest in the Sterling girl, so the marriage alliance might depend on your decision. Of course, if you're really against it, we can try to find a way to call it off. Julian started to act up again. When I said I didn't want to marry her, you certainly didn't console me like this. And you say you're not playing favorites. I asked tentatively, would breaking the engagement have a big impact on the family? I was actually well aware of the stakes, but I pretended not to know. Julian quickly answered, of course, if the marriage alliance is cancelled, and it's the Astor family that breaks the contract, years of cooperation could fall apart. The losses would be immeasurable. I looked at the others. Is that true? I saw my parents and sisters all nod in unison. While they didn't want to force Julian into the marriage, the matter was indeed of great importance and couldn't be resolved by a simple whim. I didn't express my own willingness or unwillingness, but instead turned my gaze to Julian. Why don't you like the Sterling girl, Julian? He snorted, a proud curve on his lips. I don't have many special interests, but I am extremely attracted to strength. That girl from the Sterling family, it's not that I'm trying to be harsh, but I genuinely look down on her. The Astors were used to hearing him talk like this. They just hoped he wouldn't be so brazen in public. I raised an eyebrow slightly. Really? Why do you say that? Julian laughed. The head of the Sterling family has 2 daughters. The eldest is Chloe. The elites in our circle show the Sterlings respect by calling her a little princess. But there's no shortage of ridicule and mockery behind her back. And she hasn't disappointed anyone. She's the most notorious heiress in New York, a master of all kinds of trouble, even earning the nickname Satan of the nightclubs for her wild partying. When she was 13, she owned 27 limited edition supercars and would agonize over which one to drive each day. She hired people to turn her garage into a rotating display, but a system malfunction ended up wrecking 7 or 8 of them. Every insurance company in New York blacklisted her. At 14, she found her family's private jet too corporate and hired a street artist to cover it in black and white skulls. This forced the head of the Sterling family to take a commercial first-class flight right before an important meeting. At 15, she was punished by being made to kneel in the ancestral hall, but she set up a row of action figures in front of the ancestral tablets, claiming it was to entertain the ancestors. When her father froze all her accounts, She turned around and sold her family's secrets to a tabloid for pocket money. At 18, when forced to sit in on a corporate meeting, she blasted "Congratulations and be prosperous" on a Bluetooth speaker, disrupting the financial report and getting her inheritance rights suspended for a month. At 19, she started her own business, using the funds her father gave her to open a nightclub named the Sterling Crypt. She hired a Taoist priest to perform a ritual at the grand opening, claiming it was specifically to counter Marcus Astor's feng shui, only to have it shut down for operating without a license. Finally, when she was 20, the Sterling family couldn't take it anymore and sent her abroad. It's been 3 or 4 years now. I hear she's on her way back. I have a whole collection of the little princess's glorious deeds. Do you want to hear more, Ethan? After finishing, Julian continued to look at me with a smile. My mouth twitched slightly. This Chloe Sterling was certainly one of a kind. If there are 2 daughters, and the elder one is so outrageous, why not make the younger one the heir? The younger Sterling daughter, Clara, has been frail and sickly since birth. She has no interest in the inheritance and prioritizes her sister in everything, often cleaning up her messes. It's unlucky to have a sister like that. I nodded, feigning partial understanding. After hearing Julian's account, the rest of the Astors also began to see the marriage as a huge pitfall. My mother said, "Ethan, Julian, give us a little more time. We'll figure out a solution that works for everyone and call off this engagement." I nodded obediently, then looked at Serafina with curiosity. Setting aside my and Julian's marriage prospects, what about you, eldest sister? Is there a future brother-in-law in the picture? She gave a slight cough. There is an arranged marriage partner. I raised an eyebrow. Oh, another arranged marriage? So it's not someone you genuinely like. Serafina was calm. Being born an Astor means some things are out of your control. Compared to love, she preferred profit. I continued, "What about you, second sister?" Isabel's voice was cold, her expression unapproachable. "I like being alone." I was about to say more when Vivian cut me off. "Ethan, in our line of work, falling in love is a huge no. Besides, with my 2 older sisters ahead of me, what's the rush?" After a peaceful night, I woke up the next morning to find the entire family gone. Only the staff could be seen, busy with their chores. "Mrs. Gable, is Julian not home either?" Mrs. Gable replied, "Young master, Mr. Julian is currently in the shower and will be heading out later." I feigned displeasure. "Where is he going? And he's not taking me? He was supposed to look after me today." Before Mrs. Gable could answer, Julian's door flew open. "Could you speak any louder? I heard you from my room." He was now fully dressed and ready, looking at me with a composed air. "I'm not going to some ordinary event. If you really want to come, you can, but if you embarrass me." I looked at Mrs. Gable pleadingly. "See, Mrs. Gable? Julian really does look down on me. I should just go find Mom, Dad, and my sisters." Julian retorted angrily, "Why are you tattling like a little kid? What's with that tone? You make it sound like I'm bullying you." Julian gave his door a light kick. "Fine, come on. But don't come crying to me if you get picked on." He threw down the ultimatum and walked out. A faint smile touched my lips as I followed him, making a grand exit. We were flanked by several bodyguard vehicles, a massive entourage that passersby could only watch with distant envy. The procession made its way to the Prism Estate, perched atop a mountain in the northern part of New York City. This was one of the Astors' private properties, a gift from my parents to Julian on his 18th birthday. It had since become a venue for the sons and daughters of elite families to socialize and party, a place absolutely off-limits to ordinary people. As soon as Julian arrived, everyone at the estate stopped what they were doing and gathered at the entrance to welcome him. I followed him in grand style into the gilded main hall. Since Julian was the host, we had arrived early, and there were no other guests yet. Julian snorted. "What, awestruck? Don't you dare embarrass me later." He walked further inside, occasionally directing the staff to adjust the arrangements. I followed quietly behind him, through the gilded hall. I'd heard this place was a hub for resource exchange, though I wasn't sure of the specifics. Julian then led me into a private lounge. "You wait here for me. Once everyone has arrived and the party starts, I'll introduce you." I nodded. "Okay." Before leaving, Julian specifically posted a few staff members outside the lounge to prevent any thoughtless person from barging in and bothering me. Only then did he go to manage the party arrangements. The party was set to start at noon, with plenty of entertainment planned afterward to keep the young elites occupied, culminating in a masquerade ball in the evening, though Julian himself rarely participated. In New York, there were at least 20 or 30 prominent elite families. Most of them knew about the return of the true Astor heir, so today's gathering was bound to be lively. As noon approached, most of the guests had arrived. They gathered in small groups, but their conversations all revolved around one topic: comparing me and Julian. What had the long-lost